Alright, I can't believe the Suns have won 4 straight, especially these last two, because it's the start of a difficult stretch to end the regular, and if they can somehow build off this momentum, they might be able to at least get in the play-ins. But it's all dependent on them sustaining this level of defensive effort, and once again, it stems from their trust in the game plan, because that discipline is paying off. They were reading everything, were either hard doubling Giannis, or at least shading his angles and his spots to force the rock out of his hands as much as possible, and were making those rotations out of the scrambles, so at least they were trying to contest every look from deep. The only one that was consistently making shots was Trent, and even Brook got to eat inside a good amount of times, but I still don't understand why the Bucks don't ever exploit his size advantage, because I see teams get away with too much disrespect. In this one, it was the Suns assigning Durant onto him, so they didn't even need a switch to go at that matchup, and his inside presence only makes it easier for Giannis, because it opens up the floor for him to get easier buckets, but without that, he basically had to create everything by himself. When he wasn't using his gravity to open up shots for the others, he was still getting downhill, and a lot of that was in transition from the Suns' defense not being set, or even worse, from their usual turnover issues, so those easy ones were keeping him in the game. They were clogging up those driving lanes, so the Suns kept losing the rock whenever they ran into traffic, and they were picking off any careless passes the Suns made. If it weren't for those, the Suns probably would have had real control of the game throughout, because their offense was just as good as their half-court defense, and a lot of it was being generated through their stars. Both of them were aggressive and consistently getting to their spots, but I thought Durant was forcing a little too much, because he kept having to take tough shots on his ones. His best looks really came within the flow of the offense whenever Brook was creating, because he was having his way against Brook's coverages, so it didn't matter if Brook was up, dropping, or even blitzing, and he was consistently making the right reads to pass or score. But all of that is possible because of the others being just as aggressive, and once again, they were all decisive on the catch to either shoot, drive, or pass, so that made their offense flow whenever the stars were creating advantages. Dunn had serious butterfingers throughout, but at least he made up for it in the second half, and whenever they ran into dead possessions, one of them was not afraid to go get a bucket instead of looking for a star to bail him out. Between their effort on defense, the O-boards, and all of the others being ready on the catch, it's no surprise to see him finally winning, but it still comes down to their stars showing up, because this one could have gone either way down the wire. They fortunately got shot making out of Durant and Book, and more importantly, the Bucks having a severe case of the free throw plague, because if Giannis doesn't choke his pair and Brook doesn't split his, they would have been the one in a winning position. As bad as the Suns' turnovers were, the Bucks' free throws were just as bad, because they left 9 points on the table in a game with a small margin of error, and those 3 misses cost them in the end. Just watch the tape.
Fade, won't get it! Suns win!